Hello everyone and welcome to this lesson where you will learn about Boolean expressions in TypeScript followed by relational operators. In TypeScript, we can use Booleans to make decisions in our code, and that's where Boolean expressions comes in. A Boolean expression is an expression that evaluates to either true or false. It can be a simple expression like a comparison between two values or a more complex expression involving logical operators. Let's have a look at it with the help of an example. So here you have an example where we are saying that 6 is greater than 5 and we know that this is a true statement, right? So the answer for this one will be true, and we will be looking at it practically in our Visual Studio Code session as well. Let's have another example. So now we have 17 less than 8 and we know that this is a false statement. So how does TypeScript compare these values? So those are done with the help of relational operators. In TypeScript, relational operators are used to compare two values and determine their relationship. Now what are the relational operators in TypeScript? So we can have a greater than comparison where we can compare if one value is greater than other or not. We can have a less than comparison where we can say that okay, one value is less than the other value. We can have a greater than or equal to comparison where we can say that a certain value x is greater than or equal to a certain value y. Or we can also have a less than or equal to comparison as well. So let's look at all of these examples practically. Alright, so here we are on our Visual Studio Code and I have created a file with the name of booleanexpressions.ts. In case you want the code, you can get it in our GitHub repository, which is also given in the description below. So I will declare two variables. Let's say we have one variable x and I will store a value in there, let's say 6. Let's take another variable and this time I will store a value 10 inside it. Alright. Now what we are going to do is we are going to do a comparison between all of these. So the first comparison is let and then declare a variable with the name is greater than. And then what I'm going to store in there is the result of comparing x with y. Alright. So I will say that x is greater than y. So whatever the result of x greater than y is will be a Boolean answer, and that will be stored inside our is greater than variable. So let's first of all look at this one. So I will console.log and then I will display the is greater than variable and then see what's going on in there. And you can see that it tells you that the statement is false. So you see it gives you an answer as false, which is correct. Why? Because we are comparing x is greater than y, which is false because 6 is not greater than y. We can also do another comparison quickly. I will just change the variables y is greater than x and we know the answer will be true this time. Save the code and then again let's run it. And you see this time it gives you an answer as true. You can also have other comparison as well. Let's check if x is less than y and this time we will store x is less than y. Console.log. I will just comment this one out because we have already tested it. And let's see what answer do we get for this one. And you see x, which is 6, is less than 10, which is correct, which means it is true, right? Let's quickly have another comparison as well. So this time I will do the comparison for greater than or equal to. So we will write down x is greater than or equal to y. Now what does this mean? We have to understand this one first. X, which is actually our value 6, is 6 greater than or equal to 10? Now both of the statements are not correct, right? Because neither 6 is greater than 10 or neither 6 is equals to 10, which means that this statement should give you an answer which is false. So let's check that. And you see that it gives you false, which is correct, right? Let's also have a quick comparison for the last relational operator, which is less than or equal to. So this time I will write down x is less than or equals to y. Console.log. And you see it gives you an answer as true. Why? Because 6 is less than 10. You might be wondering 6 is not equals to 10 and still it is giving an answer as true, right? Now this is because it is doing two comparison. First comparison, what it is doing is it is checking that is 6 is less than 10, which is true, right? And the other comparison which it is doing is 6 is equals to 10. Now, if any one of them is true, it will give you an answer as true. So with this, I hope you have got an understanding of what are Boolean expressions and how relational operators work in TypeScript.